I really appreciate the chance, this opportunity to be with you guys today. Yeah, call me and say, hey, can you do a presentation this afternoon? I'm there. I've been doing this for 20 years. I am the um, financial educator, housing counselor, done credit counseling. I've done bankruptcy, certificate counseling, pretty much everything here at MoneyFit by Debt Reduction Services. We are one company. We were founded as a nonprofit back in '96, based in Boise, but we serve nationwide clients. And then about 5 years ago, 4 years ago, we created DBA as MoneyFit because it gives a better, more well-rounded picture of what we do. And so I think the invitation today to present came from a discussion with Coeur d'Alene schools and some of the services that we have available, plus a grant that we got last year. So I'm going to go ahead and just share my screen, go over some of this information here in a moment. But our mission is to promote personal financial responsibility and to foster fair and stable housing. That's what we do. We've been a credit counseling agency for decades. We are a HUD approved housing counseling agency like IHFA, there's four of us, I think, with physical offices in Idaho: IHFA, ourselves, Jesse Tree, and I think Pocatello's NeighborWorks. So we don't just do one thing. Somebody calls in, they say, hey, I'm having trouble with, I need help with rent. We don't offer funding. We don't offer, we get people in contact with agencies like the Navigators. You Navigators have some great program services, do some great work. We've worked with Family Promise for the last probably 5-6 years. We get every once in a while, we'll get a family coming through doing one of our budgeting classes or our credit building classes or whatever it might be. They're not separate. I see them all as one thing, as helping somebody have financial responsibility and live in fair housing and in stable housing. And it's going to include budgeting. It's going to include housing counseling. It's going to include credit building. It's going to include all of this. So we bring a lot to the table. Let me go ahead and now I'll share my screen, just kind of take you through a couple of the things that we have available. Here's our housing counseling screen, or our webpage. Moneyfit.org is our website. We also have debtreductionservices.org. That is mostly focused on, as you would imagine, debt management. Let me say right up front, though, we are not a debt settlement company. So if you've ever been up late listening to the radio or watching TV, you'll see those ads. If you owe more than $10,000, you can get out of half of what you owe. That is not us. We don't get people out of what they owe. They actually pay 100% of what they owe, just at better interest rates. Instead of paying credit card interest at 25-30%, we can get them down. Our arrangements with the creditors are typically between 2 and 8%, and then they'll be out of debt in 5 years or less. There's no direct effect on their credit score. FICO doesn't look at participation, but that's debt settlement. I want to talk about housing counseling. We offer a nice suite of housing counseling services. So whether somebody's calling because they are homeless in any of the definitions, from unsheltered to house sharing to spending 50% or more of their income, low income, on housing, to fleeing domestic violence, whatever it might be, we offer counseling, coaching, case management for that. Of course, credit building in advance, especially in advance of buying a home. There's the pre-purchase workshops that we have. We have our own. IHFA has probably the biggest one in the country, the Finally Home program, probably the most popular around the country. We also have one we created a few years ago, and it's available through our site. We do work with a lot of people for rental issues and get them connected with the right organization. Now, here's why would somebody work with us when they could just go directly to Navigation or some other agency that might have the funding? Here's all those of us that were in housing counseling or working with people in housing crisis know that when you're in a housing crisis, your horizon becomes very limited. And I talked with a client who she said, I have been a housing counselor in my recent past. She said, but I'm going through this crisis. She was having to move houses and juggle all these things. She says, I cannot organize. I cannot stay organized the way I know I need to. And that's what we do is we are there at their side to get them to what they need to do next. So we can serve as that point of contact, ongoing, get them to over here to, let's talk about building your credit so you can get into an apartment or a home. Let's get you over and get you some funding so you can stay in your apartment. Let's get you over here to this agency that has some other services you need, and continually come back to us. We're the one number that you need so that we can get you wherever. If we don't have the answer, we can get you to that, get you that answer. But that's kind of what we do. We don't charge our fees. About the only things we charge for when it comes to housing is if somebody is going through a reverse mortgage. So seniors that are looking at reverse mortgages. And by the way, you okay if I admit there's a couple of people waiting to come in? Go ahead and admit them. If you want to get rid of them, let me know later.
You go ahead, man. Thank you.
Okay. Reverse mortgage, by the way, before I did the training and certification, I had only heard all the negative stuff about it. But there were most of the negative stuff that I had heard were addressed in some changes about 10 years ago. It has some pretty great opportunities for seniors who are otherwise struggling financially. Reverse mortgage may be a really good opportunity. In fact, it could be part of anybody's retirement plan. Just so you know, you could even buy with a reverse mortgage. You can buy a fourplex, live in one at least 6 months and a day a year, rent out the other 3 while you're in retirement, and actually be making money with a reverse mortgage. There's a lot of crazy things you can do. Anyway, we charge for that. We also charge for the pre-purchase home buyer education course. They get a certificate for that. That's a HUD approved course. So if somebody's trying to qualify for a grant or a down payment assistance, something like that, this is usually will fit the bill for that. Generally, if most of our clients are low to moderate income, they're going to qualify for a fee waiver. All homeless clients, all fair housing clients get a fee waiver automatically. There's no charge for that. Additionally, let me talk about financial classes. These are all free, available 24/7, except that homebuyer education course I was mentioning. You can refer somebody to them. You can put a link on a site. There are these activities. These are some award-winning courses on how to budget, how to prioritize your finances, and then it shows you the day by day what would happen in your first during a month when things come up based on your priorities, how that's going to affect your finances. And so typically about 30 to 45 minutes. Great for classes, great for groups that are needing something to do. These are a couple of programs that were developed through Ideas 42 based on behavioral science and how to build credit, how to build savings. And then these are the ones that we've developed as well. That homebuyer education course I mentioned, but living debt free, building your credit. Who wants to live like a millionaire? Raise your hand. Everybody wants to live like a millionaire, right? Except that most millionaires don't live the way we think millionaires live. And so that class is all about busting the myths of what it is to be a millionaire, because the only millionaires that most people think of are the actors and the celebrities and the athletes and the musicians and the YouTubers. And so they see that lifestyle, and those people make up less than a half a percentage point of all millionaires in this country. So most you wouldn't even know. Some of you probably already read Millionaire Next Door. Great series of books, and very eye-opening. Anyway, it helps bust the myths so that we're not barking down up the wrong tree to get a be financially successful. And then this is a series, the Financial Essentials, a series of video lessons to help people prepare for home ownership. This is not a how-to-prove course. It's just a collection of videos that we put together that make sense for people trying to get stable in their housing. One of my favorites is the Credit to You, because everybody loves credit building. There's so much bad information out there on what credit is. So if you ever hear somebody say, "Oh, you need to carry a balance to build your credit," I don't care if they are a loan officer or not. They don't know what they're talking about. And I've been doing this for 20 years. They're probably stuck on these old 5 factors in a credit score that FICO put out 25 years ago. The reality is there's 130 factors in a credit score. It's actually 132. And no, you do not have to carry a balance. So there's tip of the month. Please tell that person to get in touch with me and say, "Hey, I know somebody who can really enlighten you." There's so much important information on credit that is not getting out there, and how it affects our lives. So anyway, we have a lot of free budget calculators, and in honor of Pi Day, I thought I would show you our 5-second MoneyFit Pi budget. All you do is you put in, "Hey, what's your monthly income?" Oh, okay. So let's put in your household income is 2,500. Click. There. Okay, so it's a 10-second budget. There it is. There's your budget. And you can adjust it. Give, live, prepare, that's savings, plan, that's investments, improve, education, licensing, certification, business starting, so forth, and enjoy. There's the 10-second budget. The MoneyPi budget. It's not just for Pi Day. It's great all year round. And these are all free services. And if they want to get themselves, if they want to have it emailed to them, they just put their information in here. We get that information, but we don't share. We don't use it to do any kind of marketing or anything like that. It's just so we can report our numbers as a nonprofit. What's going on? What are we doing? We have a great video library, YouTube videos that we put together a couple of years ago, 10 to 20 minutes or 5, even some of them as short as 6 minutes, on a lot of great topics. You can even get certificates of completion for some of these. If that's important for the people you serve, you're like, "Hey, go do a class on," let's see, let me think of one here. The average credit score or the FICO score, how FICO scores work. And you can even get a little certificate of completion for that. And they can bring it back to you or email it to you. All of our courses, all of our other courses I was showing you earlier, those all have certificates of completion. They're all free. We don't charge for that. Another big service that we offer when it comes to housing, whether it's preparing for a home ownership or apartments rental, is a credit report review. We don't make any promises. "Hey, do this and your credit score will go up 25 points. It's education, but we know our stuff. And one of the latest people that I actually did this with was actually my daughter, 25 years old. She and her husband are looking at buying a home this summer, and their scores were not great. They were pretty much subprime. They had 2 credit cards that they had totally maxed out, and it was pretty significant. It was probably about 1/5 of their annual income. And we talked about what to do. Their lender told them, don't pay off your credit cards. I said, don't, and I told them, don't use that lender. I said, pay off the credit cards and then use them once a month to buy a pack of gum or to pay your cell phone bill and pay it off every month. Just one small purchase a month. So now 4 weeks later, I got a text just actually yesterday morning. She said, okay, our credit scores went from the low 600s to the mid 700s. So that sort of thing can happen. That's usually faster than it would normally be, but because that was a really easy answer, just pay off those credit cards. They got a tax refund that really helped. But that's free. They submit it online. It's a secured portal. We can then either call and talk to them, or we can just put together a review of it and email it to them. We try and make it as convenient as possible, whatever they'd like to do. We can even text people and do it that way. This, though, is the reason why we were in touch with the Coeur d'Alene School District, the McKinney-Vento homeless liaisons around the state. We got a grant last year, Home ARP, actually administered by IHFA, to provide a lot of services around the state. And one of them is to actually pay childcare assistance for anybody who is homeless, and any of those various definitions of homelessness. The website, let me actually just put it here. I think, where's the chat? Yeah, I'm just going to send that. There's the chat to everybody. moneyfit.org/childcare. If somebody okay, Idaho Department of Labor, some of you are probably already getting an email from one of my other housing counselors in the last week or so. We're trying to reach out. If somebody is going to a job fair, or you are they're meeting with one of the Department of Labor consultants on resume building or putting together whatever consulting appointment. If they're going to a job interview, if they are, if they are going to it like a drug testing thing that they have to go to before the job, they start their job, anything job related, or even during that first week, 2 weeks, up to 3 weeks where they are waiting for their first paycheck, we will pay for their childcare at a Idaho Stars approved licensed center. It's not a reimbursement. We don't ask them, you pay for it and we'll reimburse you. All we do is say, here's the application. Who are you referred by? Okay, from one of you guys here. And then we just need your name, contact information here, and what it's going to be for. Are you doing this? Are you doing that? How are you, pick one or more of the reasons why we would consider them homeless. And then they hit submit. We reach out to them and say, what child care center are we working with? Where do you want to keep your child or children? And we will take care of that. We'll pay if there's an enrollment fee. We've even done that. But the very first person we helped with this, over about a 3-month period, we paid, I think it was like $1,500 toward her child care. She was fleeing domestic violence in another state, moved to Idaho, and had 2 children under 5. She was on the ball, boy. I tell you, she said, I've got 3 interviews set for this Thursday, and 1 for next Monday. And by the end of Thursday, she had 2 job offers, started a week and a half later. So we were able to take care of her child care during that whole process. So she didn't have to worry about that. She could just focus on earning money so that she can then take care of it later. So we do have a couple of flyers on it, one in English, one in Spanish. So depending on the people that you're serving, you can just go to the moneyfit.org/childcare, but I'm happy to make these available. If anybody wants them, you can just email me. Here's my email address. And I'll get you a PDF of that if you want to put it out somewhere for somebody to see. Holy cow, we got a ton of services. And I mean, I could go on and on and on all day. I love what I do. If you don't get that impression yet, I do love what I do. Because I know we make a difference in people's lives on a day-to-day basis. The easiest way to reach out to us is, I mean, you can go to our website, but here's our housing counseling number. Let's see, 286-3282. That's our housing counseling number. And the rest of the information you could find on our website. I would love to be able to meet with any or all of you one-on-one to say, how can we partner? What can we do to support the people you serve? And how can we incorporate your services into our counseling programs? So please, I hope you'll reach out to me. I've been taking names. I just don't have contact information for any of you, but I would love to reach out and talk to you. And I know, yeah, as Evelyn, I mean, you've got you're a housing counselor, so I know you do a lot of this same good work. So yeah, good. Yeah, I'm not familiar enough with the scholarship, the United Way. You guys maybe could tell me more how long it takes. But I know the state of Idaho takes sometimes a month or so to be able to qualify for the assistance there. But we can work together and make it so it's just easier for the client.
Awesome.
That's it. I mean, I don't give me any more time because I will just go on and on and on.
No, it's good. Yeah, great information. Thanks, Todd. Let's open it up for a few questions. Who's got questions for Todd? Jill. You're on mute. There you go.
Yeah, I know. Every time I go to mute, it brings up something else that has nothing to do with what I'm doing. So I have no idea. New computer issues as well. I noticed that the childcare funding was only good through July of this year. Is there any thought of that spending beyond that?
It is renewable for up to 3 years. So we expect, I mean, there's no guarantee, but
Sure.
We expect to be able to get it for another 2 to 3 years.
Okay, thanks.
That's a good question. Thank you for that. And Naomi, that's mental health, right? And you know, that's
yes. I was
just at a shelter on Tuesday, and they brought up, you know, somebody who was concerned about the local millionaire shooting at her at a softball game and then flying her out to testify in front of Congress and the Senate. And they had helped her qualify for a voucher, Section 8 voucher, and she refused because she didn't want to get tied into a lease. And so I know mental health is a big issue, and we do what we can with them, but important partners with NAMI.
Awesome.
How about another question or two for Todd?
Pick me.
Arwen.
Todd, I'd love to know, you've kind of mentioned this like complimentary versus like charge. To what extent, like what services are like no cost to a member as part of the nonprofit versus where can someone expect to incur charges?
Yep.
And then two, how does Money Fit get paid? What brings revenue?
What's our source of revenue?
Yes.
Yeah, very common question. Thank you. So our main sources of revenue are one, our debt management program. Somebody comes to us with credit card debt, medical debt, collection accounts, old utility bills, all that kind of unsecured debts. There's a fee there. It's all regulated and capped by every state. But it could be $5 a month. It could be a maximum. I think in Idaho, $75 if somebody's got $30,000 of debt that we're managing for them. So that's one source. The other source are the creditors in that program. will will help support our programs because they know that they'd rather get something, rather give lower interest rates to their clients and get less back in interest than have their clients go to bankruptcy, which is typically the next last step. And then grants, we've been starting to focus on grants the last year and a half. And so that the reality is that nobody is going to provide grants to a debt reduction program, believe it or not. I know, right? But with our housing programs and our financial education programs, we are starting to see some good support for those. So that those are we can provide those. We're hoping that our reverse mortgage counseling, which I mentioned is one of the few that we charge for as far as housing counseling, we'll be able to provide that at no cost or a very low cost. So housing counseling or reverse mortgage counseling and pre-purchase counseling and education are really the only ones that most people will end up paying for when it comes to the housing counseling. There is a program, we do some counseling for people. It's called HWEPA. It's for high risk mortgages. People are taking out mortgages that are maybe not amortized, and they have negative amortization. So very high risk, and they're required to meet and do a budget with us, and there'll be a fee there. Typically won't ever go above $75, but all of our other services pretty much are all free.
Thank you.
Yep.
One more question for Todd. Anybody out there?
Yeah, and just to answer to David, I don't have any slides. These are all just directly from the websites.
Good catch. Thanks, Todd. Excellent. Well, Todd, yeah, you're more than welcome to hang out with us. We're gonna
Yeah.
switch gears to our virtual roundtable. So anybody that's new to the virtual roundtable, this is your opportunity to give an update about your agency, maybe something you want to promote. Also, maybe something you're challenged with or struggling with. Again, like I said earlier, we've got a lot of problem solvers here that are connected to resources and knowledge. So I love it when we're able to solve issues in real time. And of course, we love to hear about wins. So what's going well? What went well this week, this month, today, whatever it may be. So no particular order. Who would like to kick it off?
And Chris, if I could add on too, I'm getting ready to create and produce the spring ALICE bulletin. And so if you have any upcoming events or programs that you especially want highlighted that I can include in the ALICE bulletin, please share that as well.
Arwen, I'm brand new to the group. What is the HELPS bulletin?
Oh my gosh, Chris, I'm so glad you asked. The ALICE bulletin is a 3, sometimes 4-page newsletter that we produce on a quarterly basis where we highlight different programs that are available to the community, and that goes out to our distribution list. Ideally, that is going out to both people that can connect the ALICE population to the tools and resources that are in the bulletin, and that it's also going to members of the ALICE community so they can learn about what tools and resources are available to them. So it's kind of a dual-pronged document.
Thank you, Arwen. Arwen, Jill asked for your contact information if you want to share that with her.
Yeah, I will put my email in the chat right here, right now. So if you have anything to send me via email, please feel free to do so.
Okay, who's first?
If you, I'll hook on to what Arwen just said. This HELPS bulletin is then publicized among other places at the United Way website. So that's how we get the information out. And thank you, Arwen, for putting it together.
Thanks, Nikki.
And then update from the United Way, from the little corner of things that I do at the United Way. We have an awards luncheon coming up next week, March, April, right? It's March 21st. And tickets to attend, the registration is still open. It's $35, I believe, and we have a nonprofit professional and a nonprofit volunteer of the year that we're going to highlight and honor. Also, of course, the workplace campaign companies that participate in the workplace campaign for the United Way. A good crowd is assembling for next week, and we hope to see many of you, if possible, then.
Thanks, Nikki. Who's next?
I'll go.
Thanks, Donna.
Well, the win would be that NAMI Coeur d'Alene hired Jill Ainsworth as our executive director, which has been a long time coming. So I won't steal her thunder, but NAMI Coeur d'Alene has some pretty exciting events coming up. One of them in April that we're really super promoting. I had a chance to meet with the Coeur d'Alene tribe last week. Jill and I and Sherry Bolter from Disability Action Center went down, and the tribe will be doing a combined resource fair. We're just in the very early planning stages of it, but for the tribe to reach out to the Kootenai County and the Region 1 actual nonprofits is a really, really big thing, because we've been trying to get something going and get resources to the tribal members for a long time. And there is a bus now that goes from Plummer to Worley, so they can get on the bus at the casino and actually come into Coeur d'Alene and Hayden and Post Falls, which is also a big deal because they've been so isolated because there was no transportation. If you didn't have transportation, you lived in Plummer and you stayed in Plummer. So those are my updates. And Jill, please talk about, our stuff when it gets to you.
Thanks, Donna.
Can it get to me? All right. So what Donna was referring to, our big April thing, I have it on my refrigerator for meetings like this, so I get all the dates and times right. It's called Orchestrating Change. It is a film about the world's only orchestra for people living with mental illness. It's on April 18th. That's a Thursday at 6 p.m. at the Human Rights Educational Institute in Coeur d'Alene, kind of downtown there towards Sherman. It's a very interesting story. This gentleman was ostracized from the orchestra conducting community when he made his diagnosis of bipolar public. And he was then unable to conduct at where he had in the past for Tokyo, for Boston, he was well known. And he started his own orchestra that was comprised predominantly of people with mental illnesses like himself. So this is his film. And then on May 4th coming up, we have our first Coeur d'Alene NAMI walks. It is a walk for mental wellness, mental illness, whichever way you want to look at it. And it will be held here at the Landings in Coeur d'Alene. It's a very small walk. Small but mighty is what we would like to think. And that information you can sign up through NAMI Walks. Oh shoot, I should have had it written down. NAMI Walks, I believe, Coeur d'Alene. And if you were to do that, you should be able to get to the page. And if you guys have a mailing list that you can share with me of who's on this call, then I'm happy to send that out to all you folks as well.
Thanks, Jill. All right.
Hi, I'm Lisa from Family Promise of North Idaho. And for those that don't know what that is, we are a homeless shelter for children and their supporting families. And we also have a homeless prevention program. It's hit and miss when we have funding for our rental assistance. So if you have somebody looking for help with rental assistance and is in imminent danger of losing their housing within 14 days, just have them go to our website. I'm going to put that in the chat in just a second. If the pop-up pops up that says rental assistance, we have funding. If it does not, we do not. And that's just basically how that works. And then they apply through there. If somebody's looking for shelter for their family and they have children or are pregnant, They can call our office and fill out information there, and then that information will get sent on to me. So also, we have two things coming up in the next few months. Next month on April 19th, we're having our Aloha dinner auction, and that is our one of our big fundraisers. And the other one that we have yearly is our golf tournament, and that's going to be on June 21st. If you want any information on those, they are also on our website.
Excellent. Thank you, Lisa. And Arwen dropped in the NAMI Walk link for you, Jill. So that's in there. Who's next?
I can go next, Chris. This is
Thanks.
Jason at CD Aid. For those who don't know, CD Aid helps out hospitality workers, so our restaurant and hotel workers in the Coeur d'Alene area. We're going through financial crisis. We have an event coming up on April 11th. It's our annual Care Affair to raise money for our cause. Tickets are on sale right now. I will post a link to our website in the chat here that you can go to that link and click on the banner at the top of our page if you're interested in buying tickets. The other bit of news is that our other annual fundraiser, the Chef Challenge, which is hugely popular, tickets for that will go on sale the same day as the Care Affair. So if you are interested in trying to make it to that this year, you can watch for tickets to go on sale on April 11th as well. Thank you.
Great event. Thanks, Jason.
Hi, this is
I'll
Christy.
go
from
ahead and go.
Let's go, Christy, and then we'll go Susan.
So with navigation, you know, we just keep on keeping on. We still have our emergency assistance funding, our kinship funding, as well as our career enhancement funding. You know, we have had an uptick in referrals, and you know, it does cost exponentially more to stabilize families and to get them into homes. So, you know, while we still have funding, we're to a point where we're having to really carefully triage and make sure that, you know, if there's anything that the family can bring to the table, or community partners, that, you know, we're looking there too, because we want to make sure that we keep funding throughout the whole year. That's really it for us. Again, if you have somebody who is needing emergency assistance funding or career enhancements funding, they can call the 211 Caroline and ask for a referral to navigation. And I don't really have a question for Todd if he's still on, but wow, incredible resource. I'm super excited, and I know this is something that we'll be able to use when we're working with our families. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Christy.
All right, Susan.
I'm Susan. I'm with North Idaho College Head Start. We are a free kindergarten readiness program for children who are 3 or 4 on or before September 1st of the school year. We continually take applications throughout the school year for our wait list at all of our 9 centers in North Idaho. And we're also in the process of hiring people who are passionate about working with children and families. We hire through North Idaho College.
Excellent. Thanks, Susan. Other updates, shares, struggles, wins?
I've got one that I could maybe use some help with. Here at Beacon, what I do is I help all of our patients that need assistance with cost of their drugs, chemotherapy. I also help patients who need assistance with rent, groceries, utility bills, any of their monthly expenses that they aren't going to be able to afford because of treatment. I've got one patient right now that needs to be connected with a nutritionist that specializes in diabetic. So far I haven't been able to find one, so I'm not sure if anybody in here would have resources or know of anybody that I could contact for that. But basically I really appreciate being part of this, because we tap into a lot of resources for our patients, and they need so many different things that having all of these connections, I think, is really going to make a huge difference for our clinics and our patients.
Anybody have thoughts, ideas for Julie?
Julie, can you remind me what organization you're with?
Beacon Clinic.
Thank
It
you.
used to be Beacon Cancer Care.
Hi, Julie.
Hey.
I worked for Panhandle for a number of years, and they do offer. They have a nutritionist on staff. They also offer diabetic classes.
Oh, okay.
And
Perfect.
so I would contact. Let me think of her name. She's through the WIC department. She's on that side. Danielle she's a department head, and her name is Danielle. And for the life of me, Valerie, do you remember her last name, or do you know who she is? Her last name?
I'm looking right now so I could
Okay.
get
I know it's Danielle.
contacts.
That's all I know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. Other updates, shares, struggles, wins? Vicky. And you're muted.
I already gave my update earlier about our awards luncheon next week.
Sorry, Nikki, I said Vicky, but I'm sure it sounded like Nikki.
Oh, sorry about that. I thought you said Nikki.
Still no sound, Vicky. So if you want to drop it in the chat, that would be great. Speaking of the chat, David had an update in the chat. Glad that you're recovering. 3 months, that sounds wild to be out for recovery, back surgery, but hopefully you're on the mend. Fantastic to hear about the certification training that's available that you're putting on. Who else? Okay, when we go this quiet, it means we're getting close to the end here. So if you think of something that you'd like to send, you can send that directly to me, and I'll make sure that it gets out to the task force. But before we end, I'd really like to hear one win. Let's end on a high note. Who's got a win to share? A win. Anybody, help me out here.
We'll take a personal win even.
It's going to be 60 degrees this weekend.
There we go. Thank you, Carrie. Yeah, I mean, yesterday it was snowing, so snow yesterday, 60 degrees this week. My goodness.
Hey, Chris, I got my program, the FSS program.
Yeah.
I'm having a graduate that's going to be graduating in June from probably from Section 8 and FSS with a significant check of almost 19,000.
Wow, that's a win. Evelyn, you can't hold that back. Sure, that's awesome. My goodness. Okay, so unless anyone else has any other thoughts, nope, we're good. This is my favorite part of our conversation is good news. Everybody gets 7 minutes back in your day to go enjoy a piece of pie and have a great week, everybody. And we'll see you all next month. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.